I'm Casey with CReeves Makes, and today I'd like to go over my circular saw and the modifications that I've made to it. A lot of you have had some really good questions about my circular saw and the port that I have on it. So today in this video I'd like to just cover what I did to this saw to put this adapter on here, and also disclaimer that the modification that I made to this saw does void the warranty on it. So if that's something that you're interested in maintaining or keeping with the saw, then you cannot do this modification. This is just a standard Gen5X circular saw, but I was curious if I could get better dust collection by adding the vacuum hose adapter to it. So with this saw, a lot of the questions I get is, is it something that you could just stick into the back of the guarding? The answer to that is no. What you have to do is the existing port that is there that allows the chips and the sawdust to eject out the side of the guard is to take a Dremel and to cut that material away. And then I took this nozzle and marked it and cut it back to kind of match the profile of the guard. So what I did was, first I took 5-minute epoxy and mixed it and put it all around the part of the nozzle where it came in contact with the guard, and allowed that to cure for over 24 hours. I could pick the saw up by the nozzle and not have any issues. I have a 6 amp hour battery on here right now. This is not going to flex or break. After that had dried, I still aesthetically didn't really like the look of it. So this is a 2-part Apoxie Sculpt that I kind of put together and just formed into like almost like putty clay mixture, and put it in those joints to secure that area.
I also wanted to try a piece of plastic on the side of the guard to try and eliminate the amount of sawdust coming off the blade. So I traced a pattern onto a piece of cardboard and transferred that to a piece of 1/4-inch polycarbonate. I also added holes and hardware to mount it to the side of the guard. Here are some random shots of the cuts that I made prior to the dust collection modification, and this just shows the amount of sawdust coming out of the saw. Here is a 1.5-inch thick glue up that I had to cut to length, and you can see how much sawdust there was to deal with. After putting the port on, here are the first cuts I made with the saw, and you can see why I added the plastic side shield, which improved the collection at the blade. I still tried adding more plastic to the saw to see how much of the dust I could capture, and it was about 90% efficient at this time, especially when I added duct tape to the front area of the guard. You could see that a lot of debris was still coming off the front of the blade at the cut, and adding the duct tape to that spot really improved the collection at that point and allowed a lot of the debris to come up and around the guard housing and back to the port of the vacuum.
This saw has been super helpful and useful in my shop. Just being able to use it to rip and to cross cut and to cut really any kind of lumber that I need to do with it. It's been great. The dust collection on it is much improved. I wouldn't say it's where I would expect it to be with some of the time that I've put into it, but that's all part of the trial and error and the development of it. I'm not done yet with it. I might still dabble with it and play around with it. Obviously, some of you have seen some of the other saws that I have in my shop that I've been using. This is the Ridgid Octane circular saw, 7.25-inch blade, that does come with the dust collection adapter right there, which is removable, and you could put in the actual side discharge port as well. So you could choose either or in that option. I would say that this saw collects dust in a similar fashion to my saw. I have the shield on the side, which helps capture more of the dust in the discharge. But again, for a standard circular saw, the dust collection is improved on this with using the hose. This is a great saw. It is brushless. It is much improved over the Gen5X in my opinion. And it does allow for a 9 amp hour battery for those long jobs where the 9 amp hour battery does fit the Gen 5X, you just cannot get a full capacity on your cut depth. But again, this is a great product also from Ridgid Power Tools. They are not sponsoring this video in any way. This video is strictly just put out by me to answer a lot of your questions in regards to what you saw on my saw prior to this video. Hopefully I've answered everything that you guys have kind of put out there and asked. If there's anything else that you guys have questions on, please feel free to comment or to shoot me a message and I will be happy to answer them. I'm Casey with CReeves Makes, and thanks for watching.